going?
Of course we're not stuck, Doreen. This is a four-wheel drive.
Hello everybody and welcome to another video with me, Stacey, and Jamie, the McNeills on wheels, and we are all dressed up for a change tonight because we're about to go down to dinner. We are staying at a hotel in Stockport tonight because we're spending the weekend shopping for a new to us Caravan tow car, and so we thought that this might be a great time to share a video that talks about some of the key things we think about when buying a new or used tow car for our Caravan.
This video will be super useful to first-time caravan owners or newcomers to the hobby who have a modest amount of money to spend on a new towing vehicle. Yeah. If you've got a fat wedge of dosh to throw at a brand new Range Rover, we don't. If you've got a fat wedge of dosh to throw at a brand new Range Rover or similar, then you'll probably find that a lot of these tips will be covered by most new luxury vehicle specifications. However, stick around just in case your new vehicle misses some of the points we raise here.
If you're an experienced caravanner, if you've been caravanning for a few years, do also stick around just to see whether you agree with our tips, or if you've got any to add of your own, please feel free to leave them in the comments because they might help somebody out.
Yeah, sure. And finally, I'm not going to get into specific vehicle models or makes here. If you're after information about how good a tow car a specific vehicle is, go onto the Facebook groups and ask.
Yeah, they'll definitely have, they'll happily tell you all you want to know.
Definitely have an opinion. Okay, so tip number one is this: know your M.T.P.L.M.
M.T.P.L. what?
So what comes first, the Caravan or the tow car? So given that you're watching a video about buying a new tow car, I'm going to guess that you either already own a Caravan or are about to buy one. In either case, you need to know the M.T.P.L.M, or maximum technically permissible laden mass of your Caravan, and have it tattooed on your brain when you go tow car shopping. The M.T.P.L.M is a number in kilograms that is fixed on a plate to the body of the Caravan, which describes how heavy the Caravan is allowed to be when fully loaded. So that's the weight of the Caravan plus the amount of stuff you're allowed to put inside it.
So whichever tow car you're looking at, you must make sure by looking at the manufacturer's handbook or the vehicle's V5 registration document that the vehicle's braked towing capacity, is that right?
Yes.
Friendly, see, I do listen, is at least equal to or greater than the M.T.P.L.M of your Caravan.
If there's a chance that you might need a bigger Caravan in future, it may be worth buying a larger tow vehicle now rather than changing vehicles again in the future. And we've come up with some questions that you might want to ask yourself, which might help you think about this a little bit.
Jamie's come up with the questions, I'm going to answer them.
Okay, so are you planning on enlarging your family in the near future?
No.
Not for us, but you might be. Are you and your family likely to want more space within the Caravan?
Always.
Will how you use your Caravan change over the coming years, from short holiday getaways to longer seasonal stays?
It might do.
Yeah. Or might you choose to work away from home and live in your Caravan whilst you do?
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you more likely to want more space generally?
Obviously, I'm a woman.
So if any of the above is likely, then it may be worth considering buying a tow car with a larger towing capacity to meet that change in Caravan now, rather than having to change the vehicle again in the near future. So it's just something to think about.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially if you're going to kind of modify the vehicle or customize it to suit your needs, or especially if you're going to buy like really expensive premium parts when you're servicing and stuff during maintenance. It just makes sense to think in advance about whether or not you might change your vehicle soon.
Sure, and remember, you can always tow small caravans with big tow vehicles, but the opposite does not work well at all.
No, that's very true. Which is why we're looking at changing ours, because ours is kind of on the limit, I guess, isn't it, for us? So, yeah.
So return to the main point. Fix in your mind the M.T.P.L.M of your Caravan or desired Caravan as your minimum target towing weight for whichever vehicle you look at.
So we've got another couple of little pointers to finish up on this point. So the first one is that you're likely to hear like some old timers talk about the 85% rule, which Jamie's going to explain better than I could.
In basic terms, the 85% rule states that your car should be at least 15% heavier than the thing you are pulling. However, Whilst this is very sound advice, not going to knock it, this is in fact not a rule and has no legal basis whatsoever. Think of it more as a recommendation which you may choose to follow. The 85% rule rose to popularity during the latter stage of the 1960s and 1970s, during which a time when a car's stopping distance could be measured in nautical miles rather than meters. And the reality of the situation is this: your car can safely tow whatever the manufacturer states that it can.
I guess cars have really come on, haven't they, in the last few
hugely.
years? And if you're not sure about this, you can always check on the vehicle's V5 document or the manufacturer's handbook. So make sure you ask to see these first when you go and look at vehicles to make sure that what you're looking at would be suitable for what you want to tow.
Now, secondly, on the 16th of December 2021 last year, a change was made to all driving licenses issued after the 1st of January 1997, which was that everyone who passed their driving test after 1997 can now tow trailers, caravans and horse boxes up to 3,500 kilograms, M.T.P.L.M, without needing to complete the so-called trailer test. For people our age, this is an incredibly welcome and sensible proposal that will definitely be a boon to the caravan industry and caravanning in the UK more widely.
We did the trailer test and we spent some money doing that, but to be honest, it was worth practicing, and you know, it's still good that the caravan industry has changed because it'll be really helpful for getting new people into caravan and younger people. So although we kind of wasted some money and time doing that, I still, you know, no regrets. Hashtag no regrets.
So if you're still feeling confused about all of this, you can improve your knowledge by checking out my Are You Towing Legally video. Just be sure to ignore all of the information about the need for a B+E category for post-1997 licence holders.
Yeah, that's the bit that's changed now, isn't
Yes.
it? So, okay. So if you're still confused after all of the above, I reckon the best thing to do is just like buy a Land Rover Discovery, because let's face it, that way you won't need to worry about any towing weights because they can pull anything anywhere.
Even you.
Tip number 2.
Look for comfort, navigation and safety technology.
Very important.
So I'm a simple sort of guy
Damn right he is.
who isn't usually persuaded by in-car technology. However, saying this, there are 2 additions to cars that I feel can really enhance and improve your towing experience.
Yeah. Now, I hadn't actually thought of either of these until Jamie said, and then when I thought about it, I thought, you know what? Yeah, that's true. And the first one, for me especially, cruise control. Now, it sounds like a bit of a fancy addition, but actually towing a vehicle that has cruise control is just so good. If you set the speed to 60 mile an hour and let your car manage your speed for you on those sort of long motorway stretches, not only will it increase your speed when you're going uphill, it will also decrease it. So, you know, when you're coming downhill, so you're sort of keeping on the right side of the law.
Yes.
You know.
3 points on whose license?
But yeah, exactly. But anyway, hills aside, it is easy to increase your speed gradually without realising it. And getting a speeding ticket is a pretty bad way to start a holiday.
It sure is. It sure is. And of course, maintaining a constant speed whilst towing is better for your fuel economy. It lowers the wear and tear on your vehicle, and it makes you a predictable driver for road users around you.
Yeah, so you have more money to spend on exciting things.
There we go.
Go on, you do the second one.
The second piece of tech that I have found particularly useful is a reversing camera. These are not only a fantastic aid when parking, but are also superb when hitching up your caravan, as it allows you to clearly see how on target you are between the tow ball and hitch. They're even more useful when you're hitching up alone, when it's raining and the wife disappears, as they save multiple trips back and forth from the driver's seat as you repeatedly check how far away you are from the hitch or from hitting your bumper with the hitch.
Do you know what? We have this technology. Let's make the use of it, I reckon. Let's do it.
Make life easy, folks. Make life easy.
So something that we don't really have any experience of, but it would be really nice to know your experiences if you'd had it, are trailer stability controls. They're becoming quite commonplace on new high-spec tow cars. So if you've got experience of these, let us know about them in the comments, if they're worth it, if especially if it saved you the technology. We'd be interested to know, right?
Yeah, new Mercs, Beamers.
And I'd be interested to know what it even is, to be honest, because I don't know.
It's quite self-explanatory. Anyway, should we move on to tip number 3?
We'll move on to number 3, which is look for a vehicle that already has a towing bracket attached. It seems obvious, but do you know what? It can save you some spondulics, right?
Yeah. So let's imagine then that you've gotten your shortlist down to a handful of vehicles and you're negotiating the best possible price with the seller. If there are 2 vehicles left that are both at a great price, but one has a towing bracket already fitted, then you've already saved yourself around about £500, and you can use this knowledge to your advantage when negotiating with sellers.
And it's quite, I mean, it's a bit of money, you know, so it's good. And also, you know, if you need to, just get your smartphone out and kind of, you can actually search for what the fitted price of tow bars or whatever would be on the vehicle you're looking at. And if it's already fitted with the 7-pin, is it 7-pin electrics? Or the modern like 13-pin ones, this is a bit more of an added bonus, as often if you have a tow bar fitted, that's going to cost you more, so you're going to save even more money if you've already got one of those things already included.
Twin 7-pins, particularly for caravan use.
Is that so that you can...
Charges the... Well, not charges the fridge. Charges the leisure battery. Keeps the fridge cold.
Keeps the beers cold. That's what we want.
So there you go. So obviously, if you're a bit of a DIYer like myself, then you can not always use the fitted price of a tow bar for negotiation, but you could always knock off a couple of £100 for fitment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And save yourself a couple of £100 there.
Yep.
Good sites to check out are Witters.
Okay.
Witters tow
bar.
bar.
Is this for tow bar fitting? Yeah.
Yeah. Tow Sure, and there's one over. What do we use?
Tow Bar Express.
Tow Bar Express. When we got one for the Kangoo.
If we remember, we'll put the links in the description, but we probably won't remember, so yeah.
Okay, so we've got next tip already. Are you ready for the next tip?
Yeah, we're ready.
Go on then.
So ready. Tip number 4. This is probably my favourite one actually, because anyway, you do not need a 4-wheel drive.
No, don't get this wrong. 4-wheel drives are excellent tow vehicles. They always have been. This is as a result of their high towing capacity, powerful engines, and depending on the make and model and manufacturer, they can offer extremely high levels of interior comfort to boot. Talking of boots, they also often have very generous luggage storage areas. But more on that later on.
That's very important, the generous luggage, because you've got to, you know, store hair extensions and things in there.
That kind of thing, I'm sure.
So you will come across lots of caravanners that will tell you that you must have a 4-wheel drive if you're going to have a good tow car. And they'll give you reasons like you'll never get off a wet field without, you know, with your caravan without having a 4-wheel drive. You must have a 4-wheel drive if you're going to get stuck in the mud and stuff. And actually, it's just not true.
No, I mean, in reality, even when conditions are utterly saturated, site owners would always rather you call them for help than to use your 4-wheel drive in really soft ground conditions.
Just because you can get off the field doesn't mean it's a great plan, right?
No, I mean, the reason being is that whilst you'll definitely get off the field with your 4-wheel drive, the mess that you'll leave behind will not be appreciated.
Yeah, and we know this from our time as like campsite wardens, that actually it's really unsightly when you lose traction, even in the best of the best 4-wheel drives. If the tyres sink into the ground, they create ruts in the mud, and then the owner or the warden has to go and fill that, you know, and we did it a couple of times and reseed it even with the grass. And it actually sometimes means, you know, if it's the beginning of a season when the weather's still quite wet, that whole summer season we had a couple of pictures that we couldn't use because they were really rutted, so until we'd actually kind of rollered them and stuff. So it's just kind of common decency. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, for sure. And most caravan sites have access to tractors, and they know what the ground conditions are like. They've been on the land long enough to know how soft it'll be after rainfall. So you know, when they wake up in the morning, they know people are leaving. They'll know if people require the tractor to help pull them off. Yeah,
and you'll probably find if you have a nice jolly warden like I was come round and politely say, "Should I go and get the tractor, sir?" They're not saying it necessarily to be kind. They probably are thinking of their pitches as well. So
I mean, the cartoon that you saw at the start of the video was actually based on a visitor to the site that we used to work on, who used the 4-wheel drive in his bright orange pickup truck to pull his caravan off our main camping field after heavy rain.
Yeah, I mean, he did get the caravan off, although it was touch and go. Like, he was very much like, I've got a 4-wheel drive. It was totally like the cartoon. I've got a 4-wheel drive. I can definitely do this. Stand back, everybody. Yeah. But the mess that he left behind was really bad. And like, if he'd waited another minute and, you know, we'd have come and got the tractor. I even offered to go and get the tractor, but unfortunately, I think at best he was too impatient, and maybe at worst too arrogant to accept help from a woman in a tractor. So yeah, it wasn't great, was it?
Because although tractors are often heavier, the tread pattern on the tractor tyres means that the ground disturbance is vastly reduced. Even in horrendously wet conditions.
So again, like, it's probably the third time that I've said it now, but you'll get off the ground, but it doesn't always mean it's the best solution to the problem.
So if your tow vehicle isn't a 4-wheel drive and it's wet, do not worry. Just simply speak to the site owner or warden, ask whether a tractor is available to pull you off rather than struggle or make a horrendous mess.
Yeah, definitely. And you won't lose man points by asking for help. That's okay these days.
So there we are. So here we go. So tip number 5 now is don't rule out an automatic transmission.
We're kind of weird in the UK, aren't we? We've got this like odd relationship with like, because like over in the US, a lot of vehicles are automatic, right? But we've got this weird thing against it in the UK.
Well, even to the extent where people sort of steal cars in the US and then jump in and discover they're a manual.
And they can't drive it.
And they can't drive them away. You know,
Serves them right.
They'll carjack and they can't get away, which is quite funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, it very bizarre relationship. Even today, if you explain to an older person that you only intend to obtain an automatic driving license or that you drive an automatic generally, people will stare back at you with a ghast disbelief. And we're the only country in the world to be like that.
That's weird.
You've even got some men with an incredibly fragile relationship with their sense of masculinity who see automatic transitions as like the soft option, which is utter rot.
Yeah.
Utter rot, considering that 2020 saw the sale of automatic transmission vehicles outstrip manuals for the first time.
Really?
Which, yeah, it's been confirming a trend that many have seen coming for years.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? And I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, in many of the current, like, major manufacturers, what are they called? SUVs. I don't know.
SUVs.
I'll let Jamie do this.
Well, in fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find a traditional manual gearbox in many of the current lineup of the major manufacturers' SUVs. I mean, simply put, manual transmission is on the way out, and even more so with electric vehicles.
Yeah, that's true.
So I reckon my prediction is sort of 5-10 years from now,
What do you reckon?
people will only do automatic tests in cars.
Do you think?
Yeah, I reckon.
What about, like, trucks? HGVs are, like, all automatic, right?
Yeah. All HGVs, all new HGVs are automatic now.
Well, doesn't that kind of prove the point? And like, if they say, you can't tow with an automatic, well, that's rubbish because HGVs do it.
But some valid concerns do remain. I mean, for example, suitably competent and experienced technicians can be difficult to find when automatic transmissions need maintenance, prompting many to still advise to avoid them for that reason. There's a chap called Matt from High Peak Autos.
Oh, he's great.
He's a YouTube channel, High Peak Autos. He's really good. Check him out. Yeah. He's a used car dealer, and he still advises against them in the large part, and I really do consider him to be quite an authority when talking about used cars. But if you are willing to overlook some of these potential issues with automatic gearboxes or challenges, you'll find a far more pleasant towing experience with automatics than with manuals. It's far more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's far easier.
We used to have was it a Ford Focus, that was automatic, and actually it was really nice to drive once you got used to it, because it's kind of like a go-kart.
For sure. When you've got your Caravan hitched on, pulling away from a stop or a standing start.
And like hill starts
is much easier.
Yeah.
Even manoeuvring onto pitch on a campsite becomes far simpler.
Because you've only got one pedal to worry about, right?
One pedal, just pop it into reverse and just, So, there's a lot of good things going for them, and they're just beautiful to drive.
Yeah, so I think it's not necessarily we're recommending go for automatic, but we're saying don't rule it out, right?
Yeah, don't rule it out.
Yeah.
Rule it out. There we go.
Okay, so...
Tip number 6 already.
Tip number 6. Don't get that wrong.
Don't forget to check the luggage capacity.
Yeah, that is like way important for us, and maybe we'll talk briefly in a few minutes about for us specifically, but it does seem, doesn't it, that people nowadays are taking way more stuff away. Like,
they fill their awnings with sofas, televisions, full-size domestic fridges.
Definitely.
And they basically use them as an extension of their caravan or home.
And it's not really our style. Like, we're quite into the simple and like kind of scaled back version. But do you know what? If that's what people want to get them like away on holiday and they're happy, and so what? Like, we're all for that. Yeah.
So I mean, however tempting it might be to you to fill the empty space in your caravan with all the gear you want to take away on holiday whilst travelling, you'll likely find your caravan's payload to be quite small, leading to it being overweight.
What's the payload?
How much stuff you can carry inside the caravan.
Okay.
It's typically only a couple of hundred kilos.
That is what you're allowed to put in on top of the weight of the caravan?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, combined with the risk of loading your caravan in the poor fashion, such as putting too much weight in the rear, which can lead to snaking and other stability issues, It makes far more sense to fill your car with this stuff because generally it'll be able to carry
and your car
more.
it's designed for that, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
more weight, especially if you've got young children in the back, they don't weigh very much. So So when looking at a tow car, consider the size of your family, the personal luggage that they would bring, as well as the additional caravan related items that you wish to include within the awning or elsewhere.
I mean, stuff like the Aqua Roll and the Wastemaster and stuff, I mean, we do obviously put those in the caravan. There's some things you can put in the caravan when you're travelling, that's not a huge deal, because obviously if you put an Aqua Roll in the boot, like, you're going to take up your whole boot. But and obviously to make it, when we did have an awning, if we were to tow, we'd make sure we put it like over the axle and stuff, right?
Heaviest items over the axle.
But I mean, all of your your clothes and stuff, like, don't unpack everything from your house into your caravan and then set off. Put all that stuff like you would if you were going to Marbs or somewhere. Put it all in your car. Obviously you wouldn't drive there, you go on a plane, but and then unpack when you get there.
Yes. So if you're coming down to choosing between a handful of vehicles, performing a quick Google search to calculate each vehicle's luggage capacity may help to sway your decision.
Yep.
But here's something else to think about. With the seats up, a Range Rover Evoque has a luggage capacity of 591 litres. A Skoda Octavia Estate has, with the seats up again, 640 litres.
That's good.
But if you still need more space, why not consider a medium wheelbase Ford Transit Custom crew cab with a whopping
crew cab, because it's
for the kids in the back.
For the kids, yeah.
But it has 4,400 litres of space in the rear. And it's not untypical for them to be able to pull 2 tons. So they're actually a pretty cool tow vehicle.
So we've actually come to the consideration, and we won't talk loads about this, but for us specifically, because we're running a business from the road, aren't we? A product-based business, which we've talked about before, doing the artwork and stuff. For us, definitely a small van is going to be the way forward. And obviously we don't have children, so for us it's just us and the dog. So we have decided we are going to look for a small van, but I mean all of the above still applies to that, doesn't it?
It's going to be like a transit size van.
So
anyway, let's move on to tip number 7. Which is don't buy a tow car at all, folks.
That's controversial.
Controversial, I know.
In a how to buy a tow car video.
There's a growing number of people who are dedicated caravanners, but who never tow their van.
Oh, okay. So what?
So, yes, okay, how you might wonder. Well, quite simple. They pitch up on seasonal sites.
Season pictures.
Moving only at the end of every year or every other year, once they've exhausted all they want to see in that particular area.
Yeah.
And then when they do come to move on, all they do is they contract a professional towing company to collect the caravan for them and deliver it to their new address.
We've seen this in effect, and it's really amazing. The service is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
you literally don't, apart from packing up your caravan and getting it ready to move, you don't do anything. It's so good.
You pack up and you lift the legs and that's it. And I mean, many dedicated caravan movers will even set the van at level for you on your new pitch, so all you have to do is lower the corner steadies and open the wine.
That sounds nice. I mean, okay, some people might argue that it's kind of an expensive thing to do. That way of moving your caravan maybe is around £2 a mile-ish,
about
isn't
that,
it?
about £2 a mile.
But to be honest with you, if you're someone who doesn't want to tour all the time, if you just want to move it kind of like Jamie said at the end of each season or each couple of seasons, actually it enables you to still kind of run like a small economical car, a hatchback or something, while enjoying the benefits of being away in a caravan. So, okay, yes, you can't tour as such in your caravan, but in some ways exploring one area more thoroughly, a bit like we've done over a year or more, and bearing in mind it's not really a full year. Often your season of caravanning, even if you chose to be there the whole season, is probably only going to be March to October realistically, so it gives you a deeper appreciation for that area. You can really explore, you can get to know local people, local things that are going on, rather than just sort of parachuting in for a week or less at a time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's going to be drawbacks, right? Such as if you end up in a site with really unpleasant neighbours next to you, chatty kids.
Most caravanners are nice, though, aren't they?
But it's all part of a trade-off,
Yeah, we like it. We call it, well, a lot of people call it slow travel, and it's a really nice thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if this means the difference between making your caravan dream a reality today rather than down the line at some point in the never distant future, then I think it's an excellent choice to get people on, especially for those who've only got the budget to either buy a good quality used tow car or a caravan.
Yeah, and actually then you can try caravanning out. If you're very new to it, you can try it out for a season and then decide, okay, we've tried it out, we like the caravan experience, we want to go and tour now, and then you can come back and watch this video next year and buy one then.
So there you have it, our 7 top tips to think about when looking to buy a new to-you tow car. What are your top tips? Share them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more caravan related content.
If you want to hit the little notification bell as well, you'll be the first to know when we upload new content, which is going to be more regular. See, we've stuck to our promise that we said in our next video of more videos so far. So until then, we have been Jamie and Stacey, the McNeils on Wheels, and we look forward to seeing you very soon in our next video. Bye!
Bye.